Alright guys, so today we'll watch this video by Bellular News. Go definitely and check out his channel.
So I've got a question for you. Can you trust Steam reviews anymore? Can you trust
Usually Steam is a very trustable platform, one of the most trustable platforms for sharing video games. That's why many indies love dealing with Steam more than any other platform. So yeah, it's very trustable. Uh, but But as the title suggests, I think he will give a counterpoint for that. So let's watch this.
the Steam AI disclosure? You'd like to think that you can, but today we've got this story. One where two games from, when you follow the whole chain, billion-dollar companies just broke.
Nixon is a very big company, by the way, for people who don't are much very involved in game dev. Nixon is actually a very big IP in making video games.
Steam's biggest rules. I mean, one of them should be pretty much one of the biggest rules.
By the way, Steam is very strict with their rules. They will just ban every game that breaks that. There were some cases that did not happen, but most case scenarios, Steam is very strict with their rules. So if this company did really break the rules, in my opinion, even if they are a billion-dollar company, by the way, billion-dollar companies for game dev have different sections, and each section is working on a game, and each game have also different sections of people like directors, narrative designers, game developers, etc. So if one game of their games, probably not one of their biggest, as I think so, did such a mistake, and usually such a mistake happens from marketing team, in my expertise, but I don't know the specific case that we will witness right now. But if such thing happened, they will ban their game, because they are not like banning their biggest title. They are just buying. Usually, such mistakes could happen in a small title of a section of a billion-dollar company IP.
Manipulation.
Because if they have a very big game, why would they even break the law? Because it's usually stupid for such big IPs, and they already generate thousands and millions of downloads for some titles even daily when they are first released.
And so far, these companies are getting away with
okay.
it. And if Valve don't solve this, it will open.
I guess it's not bots, because in my humble experience, there are not really much big of bots in Steam reviews, because you cannot make a Steam review unless you play the game for a certain amount and you have an account that already purchased stuff in a limit price like $5. So you cannot really review a game unless you are meet certain very difficult limitations for someone to make a bot network to just bulk like bots to review your game. So I don't think bot was the case, but by reviewing in my mind the policies in Steam, I do think there are some companies that broke it before, that they tell the players that play the game or love the game. Let's say there is a big game like Genshin Impact, and they tell the players, if we like get to 100,000 reviews in Steam, we will publish a free DLC. And I guess that was like a similar example in Steam policy. If that happened, this could be considered breaking the policy of Steam. So I guess it's such a case that happened, and again, that's why I said it's the marketing team. It's not because multiple issues comes from marketing team, but if reviews manipulation, bots could not happen. I don't know, in my humble opinion. By the way, let's continue watching the video, because I don't think it's bots. I think it's like trying to manipulate the players to make a review.
Open the floodgates to behavior that, at least in one case with the reviews, would completely ruin trust on the platform. So basically, what if a Steam review was about as trustworthy as an Amazon one? I don't think that's the Steam that you and I want to use. Also, here's something you'll find interesting that I just found out using Ground News, who are today's sponsor. You know the Screen Actors Guild strike in gaming? Well, they just reached a tentative deal that's ending the year-long video game strike. But what's interesting is watching how outlets spin it differently. Ground News here shows 98 sources covering the story, and the framing is all over the map. Some outlets lead saying strike suspended, others emphasize that it's a tentative agreement, which is a little bit more optimistic. And here's another bit that caught my eye. UK outlets are calling the AI stuff a direct threat to the industry, but the US-centered sources, they're focusing more on the AI protections being secured. Essentially, it's kind of like same deal, but different narratives, different framings about whether voice actors won or just got a okay compromise. You also can see the bias breakdown. It tells its own story. 63% center coverage, but only 5 right-wing
nice for
sources
people who
touch
want
this.
to make
And look,
YouTube
when a
videos.
major labor news story gets ignored by one side of the spectrum,
This
that's
could,
you not
could
being
work with people who want to make documentations on Unity.
served. That's you missing out on
YouTube.
part of the conversation. And that's one example of why I rely on Ground News's Vantage plan. There's so much else as well. I mean, here I can see 98% high factuality or above ratings for the sources. I can compare how the different outlets package the same facts. And all that helps me catch what your usual sources may end up skipping on. And once you're set up, say by adding the entertainment and gaming pages, you can just get ahead of industry news and actually see the big picture. So go to ground.news/Bellular, and that's where you'll get 40% off unlimited access with the Vantage plan. That's what I use. That's the best deal that you'll get. And the link to get it is just down below in the video description. All right, I've first got to set the scene before we get to the naughty rule breakers of today. So on Steam, right, usually rule breakers kind of get nuked. I mean, here's an example from February where users flagged a game called Pirate Fi. And as it turns out, it was just riddled with what they suspected was malware.
Ooh,
So
that was like one of the first policies in Steam. They say you should not put a virus or a malware in a video game. That's stupid. How could they make that? It's like one of the first 10 maybe or 20, I don't remember, from Steam policies. What the fuck is that?
that happened 4 days after the game launched. Steam killed its store page. Then they reviewed
Again, they
everything,
are
and 2
strict
days
with
after
their
that,
laws.
users who ran the game in their machine got warning emails about potential risk. And this is an example of things
Amazing.
going right. You see, Rule 9 of Steam onboarding states that you should not distribute
Yeah, and
malware.
it's pretty simple. Even I'm not very smart in policies. By the way, I usually even ask lawyers and stuff like that because some of them, I do not really understand. But that was really clear. What you shouldn't publish on Steam: applications that modify customers' computers in unexpected or harmful ways, such as malware or viruses. It's super simple. You cannot miss that.
Shocking thing. But here, a clear violation led to a very clear result, as was the case with this other story where an entire publisher's library was pulled because they were essentially churning out endless fake games designed to manipulate Steam's trading card economy. Kind of crazy stuff. And we've seen instances of individual devs being whacked for trolling, for ban evasion, and if you're an angry dev who decides to tweet a death threat to Gabe Newell, yeah,
No. What did you expect? Of course you will be banned.
you will be taken out on Steam. Now, in every example here, it's a very clear pattern, and it's what we would all want. A rule is broken, Valve finds out, they take action, and there you go, everything is good, the platform is healthy. But here's the thing, those examples were mostly smaller teams, mostly indies. This week,
but you need to understand, it's not about if they were indies or big studios. Yes, big studios have some more effect than indie studios, but the thing is that big IPs, when they make big games, they will not rely at breaking policies in Steam because they already can generate millions and sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars from their big IP. It's sometimes because the big IPs have different branches, and one of these branches is developing a game with a bad product manager or stuff like that. They could do a plan and have no expertise in like Steam policy because they did not bring out some expert on like publishing games on Steam, because there are experts in doing that, but some want to cut budgets and don't do that, so they break a policy because they think they had a very cool marketing or something strategy, or generating tons of thousands of dollars from microtransactions by some sketchy way, but they do not know the policy. This is what makes such thing happen. And the big IP will, if that made their relationship with Steam bad, or with their player bad, they will definitely just blame the small branch, as they should be, and cancel the project, or giving an apology, maybe deleting the bad stuff they did if it is deletable or stuff like that. And then they might even accept if Steam banned the game without any consequences, because Steam would not be very much afraid of deleting or banning such a thing, because it would be in their favor, because Steam is the most important assets for platforms like Steam, is the trust of the player, the one who is buying games in it. That's why many people don't trust, for example, unfortunately, PlayStation Store as much as they trust Steam. So yeah, that's why they want to secure players as much as they can.
Though we've got two listed companies breaking Steam's rules. This sort of thing has happened before. Remember the whole discussion about the in-game advertisements and how a whole bunch of companies were essentially just kind of flying in under the radar, being unpunished? Well, I actually think today's situation is even worse. First up today, we got Nexon, and they're no stranger to controversy, like, say, the MapleStory lawsuits, the Dark and Darker lawsuits, but now it's their abuse of Steam reviews. And I think this is one we should be absolutely scathing and clear about, because it's goddamn ridiculous. So here's how it went down. Last week, Blue Archive launched in Steam. And if you've got no idea what Blue Archive is,
It's an epic RPG game.
For you. You're free. But so you're not confused, it's a huge gacha game. It's been going for a few years,
Okay.
I think very popular in mobile, and now it's on PC. And
So it's a... Usually the thing happens in reverse. What the fuck I just heard? Usually it's like in PC, then it gets a mobile version, not the vice versa. This is a bit confusing, but yeah, okay.
Doing real well. 91% positive reviews from 8,524 users.
You have to
Pretty
solve,
damn
but
good.
again, it's not the biggest IP of the company. That's why it's might done in a good department in Nixon Games, but it's 10,000 reviews. It's for such a game, if it was online, I don't really know, but as a RPG, anime, a big tags, I could say that it might be online. If that was online, it might be having 15 to 20, maybe even more. No, maybe even more. Maybe 13,000 to 15,000 at best case scenario, because these are some good reviews. I put in mind that the reviews are fake, but let's say these are real 93% reviews. They could been scoring 13,000, 15,000 daily active players, and believe me, as much as you see this number as an indie game dev as a very big number, but for Steam it's nothing for making them pass and forget about their policies, because yeah, that would be bad, especially if big YouTubers like him and others reviewed this thing.
Say you're a connoisseur of the whole collectible girls plus concept genre of game, so all the gacha games, you'd probably think the Blue Archive is just as good as this gacha darling. And take a look at this
I saw
particular
this game too, because they have the same reviews. Alright, that's going to be... I wanted just to say that the game before, I saw it in the featured when I was searching for Summer's Tale, and like making an Excel sheet of how did different companies with different genre did a discount in Summer Sale. It's an important procedure to do if you were an indie dev or someone who is working a lot with game developers. You do like an Excel sheet of how did different companies, different AA, indie, AAA titles did with their discount in different Summer Sale or like stuff like that, or Winter Sale, or, yeah. So when I was doing that, that wasn't the featured, and it has the same number of reviews as the game before that I've never seen in featured. So that is confusing, to be honest. Alright.
YouTube
So
video.
it might
It serves as
really
a good
be
example.
some
The title is I played
fake or something
Sashi
reviews.
Pretty Derby because it had 96% positive reviews. Now, what if you saw a similarly titled video but about Blue Archive saying 91% reviews? You'd probably think it's really good. But here's the thing. While those reviews look similar, you would be wrong to trust them because there's a key difference. Cygames are not breaking Steam's rules, but Nexon is. You see, to celebrate Blue Archive's PC launch, Nexon created celebration events. There's a fan art contest for currency or Steam gift cards.
Oh, that's a good the before idea. I'm gonna steal it for the next game I'm working with. Oh, it's a nice idea.
Raffle for currency, and then there's the big problem: a Steam review event. Where basically,
Oh my! I told you it's a marketing team. I knew it. It's always the marketing team. The marketing team did not just do that. You cannot. It breaks Steam policies. You can just ask fucking ChatGPT or Cloud at this point. Does this break any policy from anywhere in the world? And they will tell you, oh, it says celebrate the Steam. You can't. Policy in Steam says you can't do that. No, it's a big no. And I don't know how did they do not ask even an expert and then at least use AI, shitty AI, just for asking him some stuff. It's better if you do not afford a professional, at least ask ChatGPT. Tell him, is that okay? He will tell you no. It's breaking this Steam policy. I don't know what that marketing team is doing, to be honest.
all users.
And I know it happened like this. The sales team goes and we need more reviews in Steam to get a better sales or stuff like that. The marketing team, oh yeah, let's tell them they will get 5 new free anime girls if they reviewed the game and we hit a certain threshold and break the policy of the Steam. Oh my! I think that was the thing that happened in such a situation.
In-game gift once Steam hits a target number of reviews. Negative or positive doesn't matter. It's just the number of reviews. Now here's the thing: Steam's rules for user reviews are crystal clear. I will quote them.
Yeah, they are.
Don't attempt to
I'm
abuse.
stupid in this stuff. I'm so stupid in such stuff. By the way, it's not my job. I'm a game designer or technical director. I don't know Steam policies as much as maybe half the people now watching this video, but it's super clear. You do not really need to be a mastermind in it to just understand such stuff. They are super simply written, no big legal words. It's simple. You are stupid, very stupid if you do not understand that. It's read it once. Believe me, read it once and it's more than enough. I don't know how they did such a fucking stupid mistake.
Artificially manipulate the review system. Don't solicit reviews in exchange for any games, DLC, money, or other rewards.
They just need to put brackets here and say, for example, Blue Archive, please do not make such an event, and then we will need to ban you because big YouTubers are now talking about it. Please, the marketing team of Blue Archive. It's so obvious, to be honest.
Absolutely clear cut. Those rules are being broken. And it does kind of make sense why they would try it. I mean, review manipulation is completely commonplace on mobile stores. It's one of the reasons why so many of those games have massively inflated
exactly. I understand his point. It's very, very amazing point by Bellular. It's right. Yeah, again, in Google Play and stuff like that, I think it does not break the policy. But you should not. You are working in marketing. The least thing you could do is ask about different policies in different platforms. That's stupid to do.
By the way,
especially that you said Steam here. You didn't see celebrate the launch with us. You did not. If the total number of Blue Archive reviews, they're audited on Capital. Why would you do that? You should just say if you want to make it legally vague or something like that, even that you will break the policy. But yeah, saying if the total number of Blue Archive reviews written and not put the Steam page and the Steam mod and the Steam logo and the Steam in capital reaches the target amount, just remove this, you will receive event gifts, and say 10,000 reviews without saying which platform. If Steam asks you, oh no, we meant the Huawei marketplace thing. Yeah, we did not mean Steam. No, we do not do that. It's big no for us. But they put Steam, then the logo, then the Steam in capital. They are just about to make a red line here saying we're breaking Steam policy at this point. Who the fuck wrote that post?
They're not actually that good. But of course it's done for a reason. The good reviews look good. They encourage early adoption. They make something spread more. But of course, on Steam, unlike the mobile stores, it is explicitly against the rules. Now, Nexon is worth a hell of a lot of money. They're a big company.
Yeah,
they're even worth a lot of money
very big
Valve.
IP, by the way.
That means there's a real simple question here. How much does Valve value their own rules? How much do they value that?
Again, a lot. And yeah, they probably will get banned, in my opinion. Or I don't know, but they will face some consequences, to be honest.
Will they make an example out of
Nexon
this
management
game?
also should check that branch and the guy who made the decision of making such a review.
What will they actually do? Because the rules are being broken. And if a rule is broken and you do nothing, people will question the rule. And this brings me to today's second defendant. The Alters is the new game from 11-bit. You probably know 11-bit from Frostpunk. And the good news is, it's a great game. It's 86% on OpenCritic, 88% on Steam, and that's all from real non-Blue Archive reviews.
Oh, wow, that's good.
Nice. The problem is 11-bit's mistake with false representation of generative AI. So here's essentially what happened.
Alright, oh my god. We just should delete generative AI from existence at this point, because it's making just problems. Poor Miyazaki, poor many people right now are dying because of such stuff. So we just should remove generative AI from existence at this point. It sucks. Nobody likes it.
Right? A user noticed that background art contained an AI prompt. It was a bunch of code, but one of the lines was basically the prompt. Now this was a small app.
Oh, why would you at least delete that? At least do not be. People should have supervision in these companies. People are doing some weird stuff.
Asset. It was the kind of thing that basically would normally be covered by lorem ipsum text. So basically, some AI generated placeholder.
Yeah, why? Thank you. Why didn't you just put learn text or copy a code from your actual code in like the game, paste it? No one will fucking know how to use it, of course. So yeah, why would you put an AI generative placeholder? Oh my fucking god.
Older stuff, and in this case, they basically used AI to generate some text.
By the way, that's why
stuff,
some companies in narrative design, we put every text in the game, we review it, we make sure nothing is stupid, out of a story. Some people write some weird stuff, some people make mistakes, like he thinks of something and writing something and someone is talking to him, so he writes the things that that guy is writing to him. That happened multiple times, to be honest, even with amazing writers, because they are tired from working for long hours. So we have every single small text of the game in a file. We read it. We translate it usually for different languages by either a big company that translates things to multilingual support, or you can translate it by hiring different people with different knowledge of about the language. Hopefully they are a native speaker of the language you're wanting to translating to. So yeah, but you cannot just make them use any text they want from everywhere and put it in the fucking game without supervision. Because if a player could know that, how did the QA testers did not know that? Or the supervisor of that guy who put the prompt? That's super stupid, to be honest. I don't know how such mistakes happens.
They left it in. And look, if they didn't notice that, and that was the reason why they didn't use the disclosure on Steam, I suppose that would have been kind of understandable.
Yeah, there's a disclosure. Oh my god.
But it actually turns out it's not just that, because something else happened. Non-English users noticed something altogether different. Those same prompts appeared in subtitles on some of the in-game movies. Now, when called out for this issue, 11-bit did confirm that both things were true, that the art was indeed placeholder text that wasn't removed, but that the subtitles was actually deliberate. And here's how they explain it. It's late in development for their game, and the team decides to implement these movies. But they have a problem, and that problem is localization. Their localization partner would not be able to get that stuff done in time. And that essentially meant that with the time they had, 11-bit could either ship no subtitles for them, or they could translate them in-house with the resources that they had. Or clearly, of course, they just went to using chatbots for that, which is...
I'm gonna kill myself. I'm gonna kill myself. With that amount of budget, how could people misplace budgets in that way? This is so crazy. I know indie devs who make games from $0 or from their fucking pocket, or simple tens of thousands of dollars, not hundred of thousands of dollars and hundred of millions of dollars just to make a game, and then using a chatbot to translate something. It's super weird. How where's that money going? What the fuck?
It's kind of understandable. A language model is pretty good at translating language. Obviously not as good as a proper creative localization job, but you get the point. They went to that technology. Now, they say that this was only 0.3% of the overall text in the game, and so they decided to just make that call, to use the chatbots so that they could have the subtitles. Now, in their
Hey, 0.3% is a lot, by the way, from the game.
They acknowledge that the wrong call was made, and they say that they should have simply let you know. Yeah, duh, they should have.
You should make a better apology than that.
But not just because it's the right thing to do. Actually, they should have because they need to. You see, Steam has got generative AI disclosure rules, and the rule states, pre-generated any kind of content created with the help of AI tools during development. So clearly, 11-bit also broke Steam's rules. And to be clear, Steam's definition as it stands is pretty damn broad. So if your game is using AI services during development, that's something you've got to disclose, seemingly, whether it makes it to the final product or not. It's broad as hell, but that's the wording of the rule. So 11-bit may have intended to do this and then replace the content, but they launched without the disclosure that they needed. And as of the time of writing, there is still no disclosure. Now sure, if they put that disclosure there, maybe they would have lost a few sales on the launch of the game, or something like that. But I've got to imagine that audience trust and not breaking Steam's rules, those things...
Yeah, but AI disclosures need more research and work. Okay? Yeah, I understand. The case before, it's 100% to 90%, in my opinion, gonna be banned. But this is still vague, and many companies different with their LLMs policies, and different countries has different rules now for LLMs. There are new stuff to the markets. Okay, they were developed way before, like 10 over 20 years ago, but like there are new rules. They are very vague. They could say, oh no, it's a mistake from people, we just removed them and replaced them. No one will care about that.
Should almost certainly be higher.
For just $37, you can generate as many videos as you want and never have to worry about
So that's our two naughty games companies. Now, in a way, this could all just seem like tattling to the teacher, Gabe, these developers are doing a terrible thing in your platform, yeah. No, it's not that. There's a reason why I bring all of this up. You see, in both cases, there have been no consequences. Nexon has not retracted their overt review manipulation campaign. 11-bit have not updated their store page. How little effort would it take to update the store page? I mean, come on. Now, sure, there's bad PR in both cases, but there's little material consequence coming from Valve. And unfortunately for Valve, a pattern is beginning to form. 11-bit and Nexon broke the rules, as did the smaller games that I opened up today's video with. Now, those small games, like with malware and other things, were very easy to punish. But a well-liked, well-selling game from a real big company that's worth a lot of money, that's, in a way, harder to punish for Valve. It certainly seems so anyway. I mean, in one way, it's actually just as easy. The rules are the rules. Just apply them, forehead. But that's not really how reality ends up working. What Valve has got
The
to do
Blue
is manage their
Archive case is
relationships
easy to solve for Steam, but the 11-bit might be more complicated in my opinion.
with each company. And here it would appear
But
that
again, with my opinion, let's just delete generative AI from everywhere.
the value of the relationship and the associated
Just the cute cat videos. Generative AI makes some cute cat videos that I like watching.
revenue with that is worth more to Valve than their own rules. But I think they should be worried about that, because I think we both know what this really would do. It would set a precedent. The point can be made with a very simple hypothetical. What happens when another developer manipulates reviews with exactly the same tactics as Blue Archive did, and then they get punished by Valve, but they just say, but what the hell? You let Blue Archive happen. You never
Yeah,
issued a
that's why
statement,
they
and you
should
never
punish them. That's why. Because it will open the door for people to do it without fearing the consequences. And when they face the consequences, they will say, oh yeah, and what about that company? It's just because it's a big company and now your platform sucks and no one wants to publish their game in it.
punish Nexon. Why are you being unfair to me? And yeah, Valve could say, well, look at the rules, you broke them. To which the company could rightly say, well, clearly, Valve, it's not a rule because those people, Blue Archive, also broke it and you didn't do anything about it. Now, look, what I'm about to say is not really apples to apples, but there's a reason why, right? In the legal system, you have the law as it is written, but then you've also got case law. And the idea being that case law guides a judge in how to interpret the word of the law and actually apply it in, a real material scenario.
Yeah.
So here, think of Valve kind of like the judge. I mean, they're also legislative, but you get my point, right? What Valve have got to do is act. And they need to act because they need to set a precedent of how their rules are followed. And that's the problem with Valve's kind of fluffily worded rules. Even take the generative AI one. Technically, you could argue that almost any
kind of content, art, code, sound, etc. created with the help of AI tools during development under the Steam distribution agreement. You can know art, you can sometimes know sound, by the way. Bad recorded sound and very auto-tuned music could be flagged as AI, by the way. I tried it myself with some songs that we did in a very bad environment with auto-tunes. It could flag AI. Code, how the fuck would you know that? You cannot really tell if it was AI generated or not. You will never be able to do that. Under the Steam distribution agreement, you promise Valve that your gamer will not include illegal or infringement content and that your game will be consistent with your marketing materials. In our pre-release review, we will evaluate the output of AI-generated content in your game the same way we have evaluated all non-AI content, including a check that your game meets those promises. Yeah, but I think they put that for these weird thumbnailed AI games with all AI generated content. I don't think they will face consequences on companies that used one system coded by Cloudy or one system used some sound. Yeah, it should be, but how would they know? And even if they knew, would it really matter to them? I don't think why that low Steam has put in, and it's written in a very vague way, including the last two we read, if you remember that.
game would fall under that if their business operations are running on an email platform that perhaps AI auto-labels their emails. Because
even if you trust Steam, maybe the flagging software just is stupid, and that happened. I checked many flagging software for plagiarism, for sound, for art, for code. They sometimes make big mistakes from assets that I've created myself that I'm 100% sure are made because these handmade them. And yeah, that's the problem of such a writing.
Contributing to how the game is actually made. So from that perspective, not only have Valve got a very poorly worded AI disclosure policy thing, as for their actual rules, like the ones that Nexon are maliciously exploiting, well, if Valve have the rules and they don't enforce them, then that would essentially be seen as, oh, well, in that case, you set the precedent that doing this at the level of Blue Archive does not get you slammed, doesn't get you banned or actioned
Yeah.
against. And that's what could lead other developers and publishers to try the same thing. And if Valve was to punish them, they could probably even make a legal case of Valve incorrectly applying their rules, as is understood through Valve, basically not giving a shit about their rules earlier. And I suppose if you're a Nexon stan, you could kind of say, well, hey, they don't specify that the review needs to be positive. It's not asking for that, therefore it should be fine. Well, no, it's still
that's
is
not what the
manipulation.
policy
It's
says.
similar to, like, preaching to your own choir. The people targeted by this are Blue Archive players, people who would want the game to succeed and who will get rewards for the review milestone.
Yeah, because why would they make a negative review and they downloaded the game and now want to celebrate the game and get gifts? They probably like the game and are fans of it. That's stupid.
So of course those will skew positive. Of course it is manipulation. And that erodes the value of and the trust in Steam reviews. And that is something that cannot become normal. As for 11-bit, well, they broke the rule. There should be a slap. But ultimately, I do think it was a misjudgment impacting a very small part of the game. Certainly, insofar as like AI disclosure related things would go, there is far, far, far more malicious stuff that could be going on.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean Valve shouldn't do anything, because if Valve does nothing here, they would just...
They might have a notice system, like, oh, you are breaking the AI fake law, because they have, somehow, so the company need to disclose themselves, or if they did not really use AI, make a like some proof for that Steam could publish publicly, or if they really did, they need to update, and if they did not update, they ban the game. And that could be a system. Not the best, I just created it, by the way, so it's not the best thing to work with, but it's an idea of how could a system like that work that could be better for both Steam players and the one publishing the game.
Just give the impression that this sort of thing is okay, and that they don't take their own rules seriously. And of course, you just know that if that happens, the grifter types would take any wiggle room that they could get and absolutely use it as a justification to just go hog wild. So something needs to be done. But it's still not as blatant a violation of the wording and the spirit of the rule as in the Nexon situation. So, Valve, give them a slap, project to the rest of the industry that you're not asleep at the goddamn wheel, because if you are asleep at the wheel, the norms in your platform will change. One where we as customers cannot trust reviews, as an example. And guess what? If it's bad for us, if we can't trust reviews, if we can't trust the disclosures are actually authentic, we will feel less confidence. We'll be less likely to buy on Steam. Or at the very least, we'll think
and
twice.
Even people publishing on Steam, or just buying, by the way.
And as anyone who understands sales knows, the second someone is starting to think twice, your conversion rate just absolutely falls to shit.
That's
right.
right.
To Valve, I have a very simple message. Would you trust someone who doesn't enforce their own rules? I don't think you would. I don't think we should. So get on it. And to see what happens when you take a set of rules, the Stop Killing Games movement, and the death of Anthem, watch this video next.
Amazing video by Bellular News. Definitely go and check out his channel. And thanks for watching. Give us your opinion in the comments, and see you in the next video.